Let's look at the quarterback market really quick. Miller Moss from USC lost his job to Jaden Maiava. We'll see if Jaden Maiava keeps it in the offseason or if Lincoln Riley goes portal hunting. He's on the market. Kaidon Salter, another guy in the portal, leaves Liberty. Former four-star recruit, started at Tennessee. He's playing above his skill level at this point. A four-star recruit in the CUSA. Mitch, do you know how many four-star recruits are in the CUSA? Can't be very many.
31. I just made that up.
Sure.
I have no idea.
Jackson Arnold also. We thought maybe he might stick around, but with the new OC, Ben Arbuckle, heading there at Oklahoma, it looks like Jackson Arnold. We'll see if he maybe changes his mind. But for now, he is headed to the portal. And Mikey Keene from Fresno State. Manny, where do you feel like would be some interesting marriages for those guys?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. You look at some of the SEC schools that might need quarterbacks next year. Certainly, I know Alabama has some young guys that Kalen DeBoer brought in. But what if you put Jackson Arnold over at Alabama and gave him a chance to run that offense with some of the receivers and offensive linemen?
That's a tough sell for Bama, Manny.
Think so?
I think it's definitely a tough sell for Bama folks. I don't think they want to see Jackson Arnold there. I mean, I think it could work, but I think you're signing up for a long offseason. Like, well, this guy wasn't good at Oklahoma, but watch him come over to Alabama. It might work. I think you're probably right on the field. But if you're Kalen DeBoer, we'll see what happens in the playoff if they get in, and if they've got national championship rings, you can probably sell it. But if you get KO'd in the first round, you probably need some PR wins in the offseason to get people off your back. But what other marriages do you think you like to see, Manny?
Well, Kaidon Salter is an interesting name just because he obviously had a lot of success at Liberty, but you look around college football and those kind of quarterbacks that could be dangerous in the open field. Florida State badly needs somebody who can be a playmaker for them at that position, and so I think Kaidon Salter would actually be a really good fit at Florida State.
I like that one.
I think of when I look at guys that kind of under the radar, Kaidon Salter being at Liberty, I know we know about him, but most of the country doesn't. So maybe he'd be a good fit at a place like Florida State, who probably cannot attract a big-time free agent quarterback coming off.
For Gus Malzahn now.
Well,
yeah, that's interesting. I forgot about that too. Salter and Malzahn's offense is like perfect.
Is Miller Moss a Michigan man? He looks like a Michigan man.
I think that one's sort of the perfect marriage, right? Although we'll see ultimately what Underwood does and if he can actually go in there and win the job right away. But I think Miller Moss is sort of perfect bridge quarterback at Michigan. They need a guy there that can fit in and start some games and give Underwood some time to develop. So yeah, I mean, I think those are the three that come right off the bat. I don't know where Connor Wegman fits. I was kind of looking around the map, and he's kind of been injury prone. I don't know if that's going to scare off some folks as well. And he struggled and lost a job at A&M. So, but those are some of the early fits that I see.
He's still a 5-star, and I think he's shown enough that I could see plenty of coaches watching being like, I can fix him.
Yeah.
I can see it. So I think he'll have some options. I don't think he's going to get anybody excited, but I think he can get some coaching staffs excited. Mitch, any interesting marriages that you see with these guys? The portal not open yet, by the way, so some of this is still speculation.
Yeah, like someone like Miller Moss, I believe, is a graduate, so he can be in the portal already. So, like I said, Moss, I haven't put a ton of thought in fits yet. There have been some, like you said, there's been some big names. I wonder how many more big names have we seen the flurry so far. And I know we got to move on here, but I'm just totally fascinated by the evaluation process. Do you guy like Jackson Arnold? Sure, there's tape on Jackson Arnold, but former 5-star who's talented, or do you go down and try and find the Power 5 guy like Salters who's played a ton of snaps? And you think he can fit in at that next level? It's like there's just so many different ways. You got the Curtis Rourke at Indiana, brought a guy up, and he was obviously a great fit there. So that's what fascinates me about the whole portal is because they can't get it wrong. A lot of these schools, they got to evaluate. They got to pick their one guy, and if they're wrong, the season can go up in flames.
Casey Concepcion, maybe the most underrated player in the ACC on the short list of underrated players in the country. NC State quarterback situation has been a disaster. Manny, you've covered the ACC for a long time. Where do you see Mr. Casey Concepcion heading?
He's going to be in an SEC school catching a lot of passes. I would assume...
It's always with money in the SEC, man. This guy.
No, it's the best league in college football. I mean, listen, it's where all the NFL players end up coming out of. It's the truth. It's the bottom line. I think Georgia, right? You think about their struggles since they lost some of those guys to the NFL. I think Concepcion fits in perfectly in that Georgia offense, and as a primary slot receiver who makes a lot of big plays for them. But anybody will take him because he's talent and an NFL guy.
It's interesting. His younger brother was committed to NC State. I forgot his first name. Was committed to NC State and decommitted about a month ago. And I was like, I think we're going to see someone in the portal.
I believe his younger brother is STL Concepcion, isn't it? It's KC.
KC.
I think that's right.
Yeah.